Hey guys, it's Paul, combat veteran, MMA fighter, YouTuber. We are taking a look today at the first half of Escape from Tarkov Raid Episode 4. But before we get started, like always, hit that like button, tell the YouTube algorithm that I am making quality stuff, and hit subscribe to get more of my reaction to military movies, films, video games, you name it. Alright, once you got that done, let's get started.
That's him.
Неужто?
Grenade! Clear! Clear! Trumbly! Hicks! Trumbly, it's...
Nobody's teaching you that, but that's why you double tap, and that's why you have a search process in which your battle buddy covers you, right? Because one person has slung their rifle and started to, search the body, or in this case, look at his battle buddies. But you can't render aid until you've secured the scene, and you haven't secured the scene until you've checked out that it is indeed clear, that the enemy are all gone, that you've search the bodies, right? You've got to get security before you render aid. That's pretty basic. And again, perfect case study in, right, search, have one person be your search element, and the other person is watching. Okay, that's an interesting carry technique with the shotgun. You see he shouldered it facing up. Can't say I've seen that done in a tactical environment, though I have heard, I think, of three-gun shooters, a sort of tactical sport where you engage targets with an AR, a pistol, and a shotgun, and I've seen them carry the shotgun barrel up. Yeah, it's a solid reload technique, right? Turn the shotgun, load it up. I've also seen where you tilt, where you load up 4, and then you tilt, and you load your 5th one in the mag, and then you slide the chamber home. Let's see if he does that. He did not, but he kind of got interrupted. Okay, so when you're in a hand-to-hand combat fight, the number one thing you're trained is get control of the weapon, right? You're trained to either grab the barrel, grab the wrist. If it's a knife, grab the wrist. But you need to get control of that weapon. That's always your priority in a hand-to-hand fight. Can't say I've ever been trained to headbutt someone, but I suppose that could work. Again, the winner is going to be the one who gets their hand on a weapon, or really the one whose buddies show up. So what I would expect is the USEC member who has 2 operative team members, he should be yelling for his buddies that he's got a live one, that he needs help. I guess they got shot, so maybe they're the last 2 remaining. In any case, yeah, he's going to want to be trying to get control of the weapon. Okay, they figured it out. You see, the bear got control of it, kept it away from his head. Yeah, this is now they've gotten their priority. Okay, that's pretty cool. So what he's got there is what's sometimes called an inverted head and arm choke, and it's a very technical jiu-jitsu move, actually. The traditional head and arm choke is when the person on top traps a person's head and arm together and uses the entire shoulder girdle to push and put pressure on the carotid artery, and then their own hand wrapping around the neck puts pressure on the other carotid artery. And it's not the fastest choke to come on, but in 3 to 5 seconds, you can actually put someone out. So, but again, it's much harder to do, one, when there's a lot of material in the way, which obviously if you've got a whole tactical kit on, that's a lot of material to prevent a solid alignment with the carotids. And, of course, without your body weight, right? Because he's on bottom. Without your body weight to give it that extra assist to tighten the choke, it's really hard to get. Okay, another interesting fact is that in the heat of a fight, in the heat of the moment, a knee to the groin actually doesn't like hurt right away. It's usually a delayed process. And really when your adrenaline is surging, like in a life or death fight, hitting someone in the groin actually isn't terribly effective. And you can see even in MMA fights where fighters will get hit in the groin, and even very, very hard blows, you'll have 3, 4, 5 seconds before they notice. And a lot of times, these fighters will actually get hit, and they'll shake it off. They'll keep fighting for those 3 to 5 seconds before the pain really hits. Okay, here to tell you that if you fall out a window, hit a pipe, and then drop another like 7 feet, and you don't break your fall at all, dude, you're gonna have some broken bones. You're gonna have the wind knocked out of you. You're gonna be pretty. Maybe he is. Again, the adrenaline is a hell of a drug, and it will really prevent you from feeling a lot of injuries. But what it won't do is prevent the mechanical injury itself. Again, it won't magically make a broken hand function, but it'll make it so that you don't feel that your hand is broken. Okay, I understand he's being pursued. Instead of hitting the ground, what he should do is find a tree, usually about 18 inches in diameter is what you want. Get behind that cover, right? Stay standing, put some rounds down range, get their heads down, and then take off again. Again, when you hit the ground, it takes a second. You got to come back up. You got to do your individual movement techniques. And if there's cover available, you should use that. There you go. See, he found a tree and a berm and a car. That's a great covered position from which to engage these approaching scavs.
Hey, front!
Hey, that's actually an appropriate, exactly right, actually. You wouldn't say hey front, but you'd be like enemy front. And also appropriate, he shot first, right? There's nothing stupider than you see an enemy, and instead of shooting that enemy, you like announce it to your friends. Like, what are they going to do? They're just going to shoot the enemy. So you shoot them first, then you tell the other members of your squad or team where the enemy is or where you've spotted them. All right, that is another Tarkov move, right? When you and somebody else do the torso wiggle and let them know that you aren't here to mess with them. In fact, it seems like they actually added that to the programming for the scavs to randomly do, so that it's harder for scavs to identify each other, or player scavs to identify each other. Interesting. Okay, so I think that he is using a quick clot, which is a powdered first aid item in a lot of IFAKs or medic kits, and what it is a coagulant. So you put it on a wound and it causes the blood there to very rapidly coagulate, right? The process that blood does anyway, where it dries and hardens and thickens and stops bleeding, this just speeds up the process. So it's kind of interesting that they appeared to use it for a relatively small wound, but again, it would be hard to simulate a situation where you would really need quick clot, which I always think of as being for bleeding that's hard to control because it's on the torso. Again, I'm not an expert, though. I can just tell you that what I was trained is if you can't control the bleeding with a bandage, you tourniquet a limb and you just try to pressure the torso. And I believe quick clot one of those wounds as well.
You'll take over for me in 2 hours.
Yeah, also really realistic is the dividing up guard shifts. You absolutely always want to have someone awake. You never want to have both your parties asleep at the same time. And you always have to have some sort of rotational schedule where there's a rest cycle and a guard cycle. And this is in almost every situation, all the way from the smallest patrol bases, a squad, for example, all the way up to huge mega bases.
Как погода?
Погода хорошая, но иногда прохладно.
Берегите себя.
Спасибо, стараемся. У вас как обстановка?
У нас все спокойно.
Вам повезло больше, чем нам.
Твою группу поставили в резерв нашу.
Уже знаю.
Вам могут дать моего бойца. Ему сообщение из дома. Покажи ему.
Кажется, я в прошлый раз совершила большую глупость. И хочу, чтобы ты знал, что я буду ждать тебя столько, сколько потребуется. мы будем ждать тебя.
Твою мать.
Потому что очень скоро мы станем настоящей семьей. Добрый день. У меня не проходит сообщение на телефон капитана Бурова. Пожалуйста, покажите ему это видео. Это очень-очень важно.
Yeah, that's actually a real depiction of the kind of stuff that good commanders, will do for their soldiers. Militaries are unlike a lot of civilian jobs where they sort of have you for 8 hours. In the military, you're expected, if the military says so, you can have to deploy for a year at a time, go wherever they tell you. So as a commander, you have a responsibility not just to that soldier for the 8 hours you have them, but for their whole life. And, it ranges everything. I helped soldiers find divorce lawyers, helped them do their budget, put them in touch with mental health professionals, supervised whether they were taking medications, how their surgery went, and of course, managing family stuff. When I deployed, we had a spreadsheet, my platoon sergeant and I, where we knew everybody who was getting married, whose kids were being born, and what their due dates were, and we tried our absolute best to get them so that everybody would be on leave when their kids were being born, or if they weren't being born, their kids' birthdays, anniversaries. We really tried our absolute best to do that. And for us personally, right, that meant, of course, I was taking leave at the least desirable times, and, as was my platoon sergeant. But that is what being a leader means in the military. Whew, those are the worst, dude. Honestly, real talk, that is actually the sort of nightmares that you sometimes get, at least that I would get when I was deployed, right? I would imagine very viscerally bad things happening to my soldiers, to our base. I would imagine people infiltrating. Yeah, those are the exact sort of pseudo PTSD type dreams that I would get. And I think it's just a function of human beings, right? Our dreams tend to reflect the fears and the anxieties that we really have. And when you have these very visceral ones, then they will show up as these weird sort of dreams. Anyway, guys, we're at about halfway. This is a perfect time to stop. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you want to hear more of me reacting to films, movies, videos, and doing other stuff, please hit subscribe. I've got a lot of cool plans. I'm an idea guy, but also, what sort of stuff do you want me to watch, listen, or see? Right? Let me know in the comments below. And, of course, until next time, I will see you guys later.